Our communities are connected. Businesses, people, and organizations all sharing a common goal to create the best place to live and work possible. Everyone has a story to tell about their businesses and the place they call home. We're here to tell your story. This is Your Network, powered by Dundee Communications. This week we speak with the Apothecary Kitchen in Dundee.
I am Nicole Streeter. I am the proprietor and curator and culinary artisan of the Apothecary Kitchen and Artisan Gallery here in Dundee, Michigan. So 3 years ago we moved to Dundee from Ann Arbor, and after working at home for a little bit of time, and then deciding that I really wanted to open up some kind of store, artisan gallery, not even so much food, but just something local that would be a place for people to come and go and visit and have things to do. And so when this space became available, I had been doing some baking and different things at home and had been talking about kind of branching out from my everyday kind of art medium and using food as like a new medium. And so that's what I did. And so really I was inspired when I started doing the keto diet back in January of 2019. And I kind of fell in love with being able to create something that was good for you, that looked beautiful as well, especially if you plated it up well. And that's kind of what I did. And so from that, then I kind of grew it from there. I started off with just doing some basic kind of keto meals and doing some basic keto low-carb baked goods, and then decided that I really liked doing it, and then kind of branched out into other things. So I'm more of an artisan bakery, so everything that I do is from all natural sources. I try and locally source everything as much as possible. There's a lot of dried botanicals, superfood powders, fruit extracts, and dried fruits to color and flavor a lot of my items. I started out here when I found this space. I started out making mostly scones and just a couple other little things, and then was doing the artisan stuff as well. And then I kind of grew it from there. So now it's kind of just become this wonderful little spot to come and visit in Dundee. I love being here, and I'm hoping that everybody else is loving coming and being here too. So I don't know, just kind of went from there. So several years ago, I ended up I had some health issues, and I had to start being very, very careful with what I was eating and putting into my body. And so one of the things that I've struggled with for a number of years, because I have a regulatory system disorder, is that I can't regulate my body temperature and certain things like my weight. And so I've had a lot of trouble with my weight going up and down in my later adult years. So one of the things that I started doing was I had heard about keto, and I thought, well, why not? I'll try it and see, what can I lose? And what I ended up losing was 82 pounds over the past 2 years. So for me, it has worked out fantastically. And one of the things I love, and again, like I said, I started off with doing the keto, and that's when I started doing it. I started to make all these different products and these different things because I wanted something that not only was good for me to eat, but that looked good and didn't look like, cat food piled on a plate. So that was really important to me. And as human beings, we see everything first. So we see things, in a different way, that if, it looks beautiful, you're going to be more apt to want to eat it or to try it, to even try and make it yourself, than if it doesn't look so great and it just looks like, a bunch of stuff on a plate. So that was really my main goal, was to make stuff that not only I wanted to eat, but that looked beautiful to eat as well. Well, for one, we live here, so we moved here 3 years ago, and it just kind of fell into my lap. It just kind of happened to be, the space became available last September, And so I spent about the first 6 weeks kind of renovating the space and turning it into what I had envisioned in my head. And I'm kind of a vintage girl at heart, so I love anything old and kind of vintagey. I wanted to go for a little bit of that old building vibe that you find in lots of places like downtown Ann Arbor. And then I've lived in New York City and I worked in New York City, so I wanted to kind of bring a little bit of that culture here as well, and just kind of keep that small town charm while bringing something for the people who live here, a place for them to go, as well as for people from all over and their surrounding communities, to have another option of something to do here, because there's not a lot to do right now in Dundee. It's growing, which is fantastic, but there's still room for progress, and that's what I wanted to kind of bring here, is bring just something a little different, something unique. One of the things about the Apothecary Kitchen is that my menu changes weekly. It changes with the seasons as well. So everything in here, from the menu to the artisan items, it all changes depending on the time of year. So in the fall and winter, you're going to find more comfort foods, more cozy kind of spices and that type of thing. Whereas in the summer, it's going to be a lot lighter. There's going to be lighter fare, not as many soups, that type of thing. It's going to be more like citruses and florals and that type of thing. Same thing goes for the artisan works. They also change their work throughout the year. So some of the things stay the same, but a lot of time you can come in, if you come in the spring and summer, you're going to find different items than you would this time of year. For me, it's getting to meet the community around me, getting to know them, getting to know what they want and what they're looking for. Like a lot of, I had no idea that keto was going to be such a big thing when I opened up, and but that's one of my best sellers is my keto items here. I have a lot of people who come every week, sometimes even several times a week, for specifically keto items. And I try and always have something as far as baked goods, savory and sweet, that's keto and gluten-free, as well as at least one soup and an entree of some sort that's also in that same kind of category. And other things that I've been hearing about lately are, people are looking for some more vegetarian type things. So that's something I'm working on, is always having like maybe a vegetarian option, especially on the weekends. So it's really just about listening, kind of like listening to what the community around here wants to see, and what I can offer. So. Oh. Well, in the time of a pandemic, it is, you never know. It's kind of, I take it day by day. I see how things go, and I just kind of roll with it as much as possible. Some of the hardest things right now is being able to find certain ingredients. Certain things are a lot higher in cost right now than they would have been pre-COVID. So that can be difficult sometimes. So it's just kind of working around what's available and trying to do what I can and be as creative as possible with those options that are available. Because it's a smaller town, it's a lot easier to get to know your customer base, which is really nice. So I have a lot of regulars that I have gotten to know, that they come in. We get to kind of chit chat and catch up on things. A lot of the time, especially if I haven't seen a customer that I normally would see on a regular basis, and I haven't seen them in a while, it's kind of nice to know that I can like message them and just say, hey, haven't seen you in a while. Just checking in to make sure you're okay. And they really like that, because it's more of a personal feeling than just being somebody who comes in to purchase something. So it's more of it's a professional, but also a personal relationship that you kind of form. And you don't really get that when you're in a bigger city, because typically you have so many people coming in and out. You might have your regulars, but here at least it's just got that, I don't know, it's just got that more of a Cheers vibe, so. Well, for one, I pretty much do all of my marketing, all of my promoting is done via social media. I find that using Facebook and platforms like Facebook and Instagram have been amazing for growing my business, for growing my customer base, and for sharing what I offer with the community and with people in general. I have people that come from as far as Canton, and some that come from Toledo and other parts of Ohio. So it's definitely reaching, the surrounding areas, which is fantastic. So it's not just locals, but I'm reaching other people in the surrounding areas where they might come here because I offer something that somewhere by them, in their geographical location may not offer. I plan to offer a private dining experiences here where customers and guests of up to about 10 to 12 people, they can do a reservation for like a 5 to 7 course meal that will include their meal and cocktails and refreshments and some form of live entertainment, whether it be music or comedy or an art class or a cooking class or something along those lines. And then hopefully also offering some additional like DIY type events where families, especially kids from the local community, can come in and do a craft on the weekends or do some kind of project that helps give them something to do in the neighborhood. That if one of my main focuses here is I'm hugely focused on sustainability and being as eco-friendly as possible. And providing healthier alternatives as far as for eating goes, and meal planning and that type of thing. And just that, it's a place that anybody can come and we kind of have a little bit of everything and you never know what's going to be here at what time because everything always is changing. So it's kind of unique in that regard is that what you might find here this week, it might not be here next week or the week after, but there will definitely be something else in its place. So everything, like I said, everything changes, all the flavors change, all the menu items change. And I think that's one of the things that will help keep people coming back is because there's always something new. I always say that, it's always best if you're coming from a distance to call ahead or to message ahead just in case. Because sometimes I am closed for private events, just depending on if I have a catering job that week or not, or if there's something else going on. So a lot of the time, and then, certain things happen, like it's an old building. Sometimes things go, sometimes things break and you have to get it fixed. And a lot of the time being a, place that sells food, you can't do that during business hours. So, but other than that, no, it's pretty much, I welcome all. So I welcome everyone. So come on in anytime. And I usually am here. So Thursday through Sunday.